Have you ever pondered the profound wisdom that Jesus Christ, a carpenter's son from Nazareth, imparted to the world? His teachings, filled with compassion and understanding, resonate with individuals across all walks of life, transcending religious boundaries. They remain as relevant today as they were over 2,000 years ago, providing guidance in our ever-changing world. These teachings continue to inspire, comfort, and challenge us in unique ways. Join us on a journey as we delve into the life and teachings of Jesus Christ. The story of Jesus begins in the humble town of Bethlehem. From the birth in a lowly manger to a carpenter and his wife, to his upbringing in the unassuming town of Nazareth, Jesus' early life was marked by simplicity and humility. His beginnings were not of royal stature or grandeur, but of modesty and humbleness, a testament to the divine wisdom that the greatest of leaders often emerge from the most humble of beginnings. In the quiet town of Bethlehem, nestled among rolling hills, a child was born. Born not in a palace or house of nobility, but in a manger, surrounded by shepherds and their flocks. This was Jesus, the Son of God, whose birth was heralded by a brilliant star in the night sky, a beacon of divine wisdom and love. As he grew, Jesus and his family moved to Nazareth, a small, inconspicuous town in Galilee. There he was raised by his mother Mary and his father Joseph, a carpenter by trade. His upbringing was not filled with luxury or privilege, but with lessons of humility, compassion, and love. His early life was spent learning the carpentry trade from his father, a humble profession that required patience, precision, and a deep understanding of the materials at hand. These lessons, learned at his father's side, would later serve as the foundation for his spiritual teachings. He was not a prince or a scholar, but a carpenter's son, whose wisdom would come not from books or royal tutors, but from the experiences of a simple and humble life. As Jesus grew into a man, he continued to live a life of humility and simplicity. He did not seek wealth or power, but instead, he sought understanding and love. He would go on to share these lessons with the world, transforming countless lives and shaping the course of history. From these humble beginnings sprouted the greatest spiritual leader the world has ever known. From a manger in Bethlehem to the hills of Nazareth, Jesus' journey teaches us that true wisdom and leadership do not stem from wealth or status, but from humility, compassion, and love. His story reminds us that the most profound wisdom often emerges from the simplest of beginnings. At the age of 30, Jesus experienced a transformative spiritual awakening. Yes, it was at this crucial juncture that Jesus' journey truly began. A journey that would leave an indelible mark on the sands of time and continue to guide countless souls even after 2 millennia. The baptism by John the Baptist was one of those key moments that sparked this awakening. Picture this: the Son of Man, humbly stepping into the River Jordan, not asserting any divine privilege, but standing shoulder to shoulder with the common folks. As John baptized Jesus, a heavenly voice echoed, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased." This event wasn't just a mere ritual, it was a divine endorsement, an affirmation of Jesus' mission, but the journey had just begun. From the baptismal waters of the Jordan, Jesus was led into the wilderness. Here, he faced the temptation in the desert. 40 days and 40 nights he fasted and prayed, wrestling with the allure of worldly power and glory. But Jesus stood firm, choosing the path of righteousness over easy gains. This wasn't just a personal victory, it was a testament to his divine strength, a demonstration of his unwavering commitment to God's will. These events, the baptism and the temptation, were not random occurrences. They were meticulously orchestrated stages in Jesus' spiritual awakening. They marked the beginning of his public ministry, a ministry that would challenge the status quo, spark debates, and ignite a revolution of love and forgiveness. So what was this all about? It was about transformation. It was about a carpenter from Nazareth embracing his divine calling. It was about Jesus, the man, awakening to Jesus, the Messiah, and with this awakening, he didn't just change his own path, He illuminated the path for all of humanity. With his spiritual awakening, Jesus embarked on his divine mission. A mission that continues to inspire, guide, and transform lives even today. So, as we delve deeper into the life and teachings of Jesus, let's remember that his journey started with an awakening that echoes the divine wisdom unveiled for us all. Central to Jesus' teachings was the message of love, a profound truth that continues to resonate with us today. Love, as Jesus taught us, is not merely an emotion but an active commitment to the well-being of others, even those who may not reciprocate that love. Let's take a journey into some of his parables that encapsulate this message. The parable of the Good Samaritan, for instance, is a vivid illustration of love in action. The Samaritan, a man of a different faith and culture, stops to help a stranger left for dead on the road, even when those from the stranger's own community passed him by. The Samaritan showed us that love transcends boundaries. It sees the humanity in others and responds with compassion. Then there's the story of the prodigal son, a young man who squanders his father's wealth and returns home expecting rejection, only to be greeted with open arms. In this story, Jesus teaches us about the transformative power of forgiveness and the boundless nature of a father's love. It's a reminder that love is patient, love is kind. Love does not keep a record of wrongs but rejoices in the truth. These parables, along with many others, serve as a compass, guiding us towards a better understanding of love. They teach us that love is not selective. It does not discriminate. Love extends to our neighbors, our enemies, the stranger, the outcast, and the forgotten. It's about putting the needs of others before our own, about showing mercy, offering forgiveness, and extending grace. In a world often marked by division and discord, these teachings of Jesus offer us a path towards unity and harmony. They challenge us to rise above our prejudices, our fears, and our self-interest, and to embrace a higher calling of love. Through these stories, Jesus taught us the power and paramountcy of love. A love that heals, a love that forgives, a love that embraces all, and a love that ultimately transforms us. Let us strive to live out this message of love in our everyday lives, because in the end, love is the greatest of all. Jesus' ministry was marked by miraculous events that astounded the people of his time. He didn't just preach, he acted. His actions were not mere gestures, but miracles that left an indelible impression on those who witnessed them. Imagine a crowd of 5,000 men, not including women and children, gathered to hear Jesus. They were far from their homes, from their comfort zones, and from their sources of food. It was nearing evening, and they were hungry. Yet they lingered, captivated by Jesus' teachings. But Jesus, in his compassion, didn't want to send them away hungry. So with just 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, he fed them all. Not a single person left hungry, and there were even 12 baskets of leftovers. It's a miracle that still boggles our minds today. Then there was the time when Jesus met a man who had been blind from birth. This man had never seen the light of the day, the colors of the rainbow, or the faces of his loved ones. His world was shrouded in darkness. Yet when Jesus touched his eyes, he saw. For the first time, he saw the world in all its glory. It wasn't just his sight that was restored, but his entire life was transformed. These miracles, however, were not just displays of Jesus' compassion. They were manifestations of a divine power that transcends human comprehension. When Jesus fed the 5,000, he defied the laws of nature. When he restored the sight of the blind man, he reversed a lifelong affliction. These were not natural phenomena, but supernatural interventions. These miracles were not just acts of kindness, but demonstrations of a divine power that transcends our understanding. Jesus' miracles were a testament to his divinity, a reassurance of his message, and a beacon of hope for those who believe. They serve as a reminder that with faith, nothing is impossible, and that divine love and compassion can indeed work wonders. Jesus, knowing the cost of his message, willingly walked the path of sacrifice. As we delve into the final days of Jesus, we find a man confronting destiny, fully aware of the price he would pay for the love he sought to spread. In the heart of Jerusalem, Jesus shared his Last Supper with his disciples. It was no ordinary meal, but a moment heavy with symbolism and love. He broke bread, symbolizing his body which was to be broken, and poured wine, representing his blood soon to be shed. In this poignant scene, Jesus was preparing his disciples for what was to come, teaching them the significance of his sacrifice and the unbreakable bond of love that it represented. But even as they shared this intimate meal, the shadows of betrayal were lengthening. Judas, one of his own, led the authorities to Jesus, trading loyalty for a handful of silver. It marked the beginning of a solemn journey, a journey that would end at the cross. Jesus was arrested and brought before Pontius Pilate. Despite the false accusations and the cries for his crucifixion, Jesus remained calm, his heart steadfast. He did not seek to defend himself, nor did he harbor any resentment. Instead, he accepted his fate with grace, embracing the path laid before him. And so, cloaked in humility and love, Jesus was led to Golgotha, the place of the skull, carrying his cross. The crowd watched as he was nailed to the cross, a crown of thorns pressed into his brow. But even in the face of such unimaginable pain, Jesus' thoughts were not for himself, but for others. "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do," he prayed. His words echoed his teachings, his life, his love. His sacrifice was the ultimate act of love, a testament to the depth of his teachings. Through it all, Jesus remained an embodiment of love and forgiveness, showing us that even in the midst of suffering, love triumphs. His sacrifice continues to inspire millions around the world, reminding us that love indeed is the greatest of all commandments. The story of Jesus does not end with his death, but transcends it through his resurrection and ascension. In the heart of the narrative, we find the resurrection, a pivotal moment that redefines the course of human history. On the third day following his crucifixion, Jesus emerges from the tomb, not as a ghost, but in a glorified body that bears the marks of his sacrifice. This remarkable event is not just the fulfillment of prophecies, but also a testament to the power of divine love and redemption. Following his resurrection, Jesus appears to his disciples, not once, but multiple times. He walks with them, talks with them, even shares a meal with them. His interactions are filled with compassion and wisdom as he guides his disciples to understand the profound significance of his resurrection. Every appearance holds a message of hope, of love, and of a life that extends beyond the physical realm. The ascension of Jesus marks the final act of his earthly journey. 40 days after his resurrection, Jesus ascends to heaven, witnessed by his disciples. The ascension is not simply a departure, but a promise of his continued presence. As he rises above the earthly realm, he assures his disciples that he will be with them always, in spirit and in truth. The resurrection and ascension of Jesus are not just historical events, but profound symbols of hope and eternal life. They remind us that death is not the end, but a doorway to a new life. They teach us that love transcends physical boundaries, and that spirit is unbounded by time and space. In the grand narrative of Jesus' life, the resurrection and ascension stand as pillars of faith, testaments to the power of divine love and the promise of eternal life. They are not just events of the past, but timeless messages that continue to inspire us today. Through his resurrection and ascension, Jesus showed us that love and spirit are eternal. Over 2 millennia have passed, yet the message of Jesus remains as relevant as ever. When we look around us, we see a world that often seems filled with strife and discord. It can be easy in such times to lose sight of the timeless wisdom that Jesus imparted. His teachings of love, forgiveness, and compassion are not just historical or religious artifacts. They are active guides, luminous beacons that can light our way in navigating the challenges of our contemporary world. Let's consider love, the cornerstone of Jesus' teachings. Today, we live in a society that is more connected than ever, yet ironically, more isolated. In this environment, Jesus' message to love thy neighbor as thyself becomes ever more critical. It's not just about loving those who are similar to us, but also those who are different, even those who we might consider our adversaries. Love, in Jesus' teaching, is radical, transformative,
and inclusive. And then there's forgiveness. In an age where grudges are held and resentment is harbored, Jesus' directive to forgive those who have wronged us might seem challenging, even impossible. Yet, it is through this act of forgiveness that we can release ourselves from the chains of bitterness and embrace the freedom of peace. Jesus' message of compassion, too, resonates powerfully in today's world, a world where the gap between the haves and the have-nots is widening. Jesus taught us to care for the least among us, to extend our hand in help, not in judgment. This compassion is not just a virtue, but a call to action, a call to make our world a better place. In real-life applications, these teachings can be as simple as lending a listening ear to a lonely friend, or as profound as advocating for social justice and equality. When we embody these teachings in our daily lives, we are not just honoring Jesus' message, but also contributing to the healing of our world. In a world often divided by hate and fear, Jesus' message of love serves as a beacon of hope.
As we reflect on the life and teachings of Jesus, we are reminded of their timeless relevance. From humble beginnings, a carpenter's son in a modest town, Jesus emerged as an unparalleled figure of love, compassion, and wisdom. His teachings, though thousands of years old, continue to resonate in our hearts, echoing the profound truth of a love that transcends time, space, and even death itself. The miracles he performed were not just acts of divine power, but also profound demonstrations of a compassion that seeks to heal, to restore, and to uplift the downtrodden. These miracles remind us that love has the power to transform, to break the chains of suffering, and to bring light into the darkest corners of our lives. The path to sacrifice that Jesus willingly walked is a testament to the depth of his love. A love that was willing to endure the cross for the sake of humanity. His sacrifice is a beacon of hope, a reminder that love does not shy away from pain, but rather it embraces it, transforming it into a source of redemption and healing. The resurrection and ascension of Jesus are not just historical events, but powerful symbols of hope and renewal. They remind us that life is not confined to the physical realm, that death is not the end, but rather a transition to a higher form of existence. In today's world, where we are often overwhelmed by the noise of materialism, superficiality, and division, Jesus' message rings out clear and strong, a call to love more deeply, to forgive more readily, and to live with greater compassion. His teachings are not just historical artifacts, but a living wisdom that can guide us in our daily lives, helping us to navigate the turbulent waters of modern existence. May the wisdom of Jesus guide us in our daily lives, helping us to love more deeply, forgive more readily, and live more compassionately.